What's my favorite Multiversity series? Well, it's Grant Morrison's Multiversity. No, I love Comics Should Be Cheap because comics should be cheap, and also because it's the column at the site that got me coming to the site before I was ever writing for it. I just think it's such a nice way to condense down the week's comics into the things that you can't miss, or that if you put financial limitations on yourself, that you shouldn't miss. So that's my favorite column.
My favorite thing Multiversity has probably published is the Multiversity Annotations series for Multiversity. It's how I discovered this place. Also, the naming makes everything confusing.
So my favorite piece or series that Multiversity has published, I definitely have to give it to Mark's Mignolaversity reading order. As a fellow huge Hellboy, BPRD, Mignolaverse fan, I found it extremely helpful when I was trying to map out a reread of all the series. And Mark's writing is actually what brought me to Multiversity and got me to submit some of my work to start writing for you guys.
One of my favorite pieces Multiversity's ever posted is Paul Lye's piece on the Spectrum Age of comics. If you haven't read that, I think you really owe it to yourself to read it. It is amazing. We've published lots of other great stuff, but the Spectrum Age piece sort of stands out to me as one of the best things that we've ever done as a site. So thanks, Paul.
My favorite series by Multiversity is absolutely Saturday Morning Panels. It's the thing I was most interested in joining the team, and I just get so much enjoyment out of myself making dumb jokes about panels week in and week out, but also reading everybody else's dumb jokes. And also beyond that, when we do have moments of sincerity, things that we find poignant that come from these books that we love so much.
I love our We Want Comics series. That's where our staffers take existing properties that generally aren't comics and imagine them as comics. It's fun because I can see the diversity of interest that our staff has. And two, it's fun to see how we take these very different properties and very different media, whether it's a TV show or a video game or even a musical artist, and figure out what would that look like in sequential storytelling.
My favorite article that Multiversity has published has been Paul Lye's Welcome to the Spectrum Age.
I'm a big fan of cross-sell crossovers, an old column that we used to have by a guy named Patrick Tobin, ran in 2011. Basically, the whole shtick was he would go back and find crossovers that had mostly been forgotten to time, kind of poking fun at how all of these things are billed as like how nothing will ever be the same, and this is what everyone will be talking about for years and years to come. If you want a good representative example of it, I would say his column on Fire from Heaven, which was the first company-wide Wildstorm crossover. Very funny, but also interesting, which I thought was, very representative of his work.
I gotta give a cop-out answer to that. I mean, I have more than one piece, more than one series, we've been doing this for 10 years. There's a lot of good stuff. There. I'm somewhat partial to the Multiversity collection. But, we have wonderful ongoing series. We have wonderful podcasts. We have, our long form, the long forms are really, really good. Paul Lye wrote one, designating the Spectrum Age of comics that I thought was really, really good. Alice Castle wrote one about just, I guess, where she was as a reviewer at that moment and where she saw the world around her and sort of her place in it. That the actual name of it escapes me. I want to say it's How to Protect a World That Hates and Fears You, something like that. It's heartbreaking. It really, I've gone back to that multiple times. But there's so much stuff that I haven't had a chance to see, and there's so much stuff that is there that, you know, people who are watching this should go just, you know, jump into the archives, go back and you know, listen to the Hour Cosmic, a comic book game show, a wonderful comic book game show. We've got tons of stuff, and if I can give a cop-out answer of, you know, favorite piece of, you know, Multiversity stuff, is that I can't really pick one.